Move the microphone back from your fucking face a few inches. My goodness, it's like talking to a fucking gabagool.
That's why you dropped your cap, my guy.
All right, let's do this. What is up, everybody? And welcome back to the Bat in the Hat podcast, where we dive deep into all things nerd. My name, of course, is Steven. With me, as always, is Trey. What is up, Trey?
It's another beautiful Monday. Glad to be back here.
Beautiful Monday people. And the week of Halloween.
It is.
It is
spooky.
Spooky week.
Drop spooky noise.
It is spooky week.
Cut it in, Steve. That's
Cut it in.
Noise.
Is that? I was talking about at the podcast meeting. I was talking about how bad I want a mixer with a soundboard where I can add in spooky effects.
That'd be pretty hard.
It'd be pretty hard, but you know, we are what we are right now. I may have fixed, by the way, the sleep timer on this Fire TV, that it may not go off now after 20 minutes. So we're going to test today. I had to do a whole thing where I went into it via a program and all this stuff on my computer. It was really fancy.
And I watched TikToks during the whole time.
He did. He watched TikToks during the entire thing and kept going. The whole time I'm trying to fix this, by the way, for us, he kept going, hey, look at this. Look at this.
That guy hit a kangaroo.
The guy did hit a kangaroo. The guy hit a kangaroo, and then there was just a beating heart under his truck. That was terrifying.
I have a bad feed.
TikTok ruins lives just by what you see on it, you know.
Makes mine greater.
Because it is Halloween week, we are going to be going over spookiness this week. Of course, we have plenty of news and stuff that happened this week. We can't just go, brush over, so we're going to have to talk about it. However, we want to really focus on the spooky stuff. So we're going to be talking about the new Halloween kills, as well as reminiscing on the 2018 Halloween movie that came before it. Right. Some of our favorite Halloween memories. And we'll be talking about some other spooky stuff as we come up to it, because spookiness is everywhere, guys. And Halloween, it's really a state of mind and a state of spirit. So let's get spooky. I'm going to make this thumbnail spooky. I'm talking pumpkins. I'm talking maybe a skeleton. I know, right? So let's get into it.
Heck yeah.
The first bit of spooky news.
Alec Baldwin killed a woman.
Jesus Christ. I wasn't going to lead with that, but yeah, let's talk about that.
I'm sorry.
I want to start this off by saying that this is and I know that this is so awful to start this off by saying, but this is a very Second Amendment friendly channel. We are gun lovers here. And I know that Alec Baldwin is a very anti-gun person. However, this is nothing political. It is purely just a tragedy. And I've seen, the reason I felt the need to even say it is that there are some YouTubers that I won't watch anymore because I just hate their opinions on things. I just disagree with everything they say, and I think that they're assholes. But I saw one YouTuber whose name I won't throw out there, where he was like famously anti-gun, Alec Baldwin shoots a coworker on set and was like making a joke out of it, or like a ha ha, and it's like, bro, that's not the way to do it. It was a tragedy. What happened is, oftentimes in the movie industry, which I fortunately had this knowledge prior to this happening, there's no such thing as prop guns. Well, there is prop guns, but often real guns are used. They are then firing either blanks or certain types of ammunition that are not real ammunition, pop caps and stuff like that. But real functional guns are used. That way they're authentic. They look real. They don't look cheesy. There's no issues there. Somehow, in the transition of this gun making its way to the set, a live round was put in this gun. Now, my mind always goes straight to sabotage, or somebody did it on purpose. However, they are saying it was purely a mistake, in which the prop master, somebody will get charged for this, which I believe the charge will come to negligent homicide. Right. But the prop master, who is supposed to check these guns and really have, every prop on set verified, this is his negligence. So, or, her negligence, whoever the prop master is. Right. So, it is a absolute shame. Obviously, they were filming the movie, which I believe is called Rust. and Alec Baldwin's character had to fire a gun, took a couple of shots, and it ended up killing one woman who was some sort of production. Now she had a pretty.
She was like production director.
She was like a cinematographer. She had like a.
Yeah.
She was important. And then there was, I think, a production assistant who was injured. And it's a tragedy. Regardless of how you think about guns, this is an awful thing. And honestly, my thoughts go out to, I know that's like the least anybody can say, but, thoughts go out to Alec Baldwin. That's something that changes your life, something that you're going to have to live with,
That and the husband of the director and everything.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's messed up. So I just got so annoyed. I mean, we're going to get back to fun shit in a minute, but
right.
I did get so annoyed that somebody was... Again, I'm hugely pro guns, hugely pro Second Amendment, but you don't then use this tragic death of somebody to prove your political point. That's just so fucking classless, in my opinion.
Yep. Just don't point guns at people.
Right.
That's just another thing.
Whether they're real or fake, you know. But that being said, obviously, again, it's a movie set. Right. It should never have happened, and unfortunately, somebody's going to be charged with negligent homicide. Right. It will not be Alec Baldwin, because there's no way for him to. That wasn't his job. That wasn't something he should have known. Right. If anybody sits there and think, well, he should have known. No, I mean, the ammunition may be marked differently, or maybe it looks different. Maybe it has different caps. The actor doesn't have. He's not the prop master for a reason. He doesn't have that knowledge. Right. So, really, thoughts go out to the families affected, the husband and whatnot, and Alec Baldwin, because that can't be an easy thing to cope with, obviously. In lighter, more fun news, speaking of, I love Alec Baldwin, by the way. I think he's a very funny actor, regardless of his temper, and regardless of the things he calls his daughters. I think we respect women around here, but that shit was it was funny. Brendan Fraser, who everybody absolutely loves, was just announced that he was cast as the main villain in the HBO Max Batgirl movie. Not Batwoman, Trey. Okay. Batgirl.
Gotcha.
Barbara Gordon.
Okay.
Why is this significant? Obviously, it's fucking Brendan Fraser.
Yes.
Amazing actor, somebody that we're all so glad has come back from taking his time, refinding his love for acting again, and has been welcomed back with open arms. I'm very excited. Now, it hasn't been exactly confirmed who he will be, but it is heavily speculated it will be Firefly. The main villain will be Firefly, which I think is a very interesting choice and an awesome choice, because Firefly is one of those characters that, when done correctly, is horrifying. And unfortunately, in a lot of mediums, has not been done correctly.
He was badass in the Batman the Animated Series.
Well, he was badass in Batman the Animated Series. He was still kind of cartoony, though. My favorite iteration, like the darkest, kind of gnarliest iteration, for me, was the Arkham series of video games.
You're not wrong.
He was in Arkham City, and you had to chase him with the Batmobile, and he was just this burnt fuck of a guy, with these crazy flame wings, and he's just holding a flamethrower. Awesome. It was really cool. I really hope we see like a gnarly version of that. It doesn't have to be like that crazy, but I really hope we see like again, I don't want it to look like, I thought the animated show, do you remember The Batman? Yeah. Firefly was done very well in that show. However, I don't want it to feel that clean. It was just really clean. He, instead of shooting flames, he shot like laser shots, and his jetpack was just like he was like a bumblebee. But he was done very well in that show. My problem is that every time Firefly has been done, he's always been like a second tier villain. And I think it would be really cool to see him prominently featured as a villain. That being said, and I'm going to ask what your opinion on this is. Okay. Every time we get, and I've been reading comics for a very long time, every time we get Batgirl or one of the sidekicks, I want to say you do see it more with the female heroes, their main villain is Batman's like B or C list characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it always feels a little, I don't know if it's misogynistic or just patronizing, but what do you think? I feel like I see that all the time.
Well, that, and I feel like with those type of characters, it's kind of easier to recycle the material rather than to come up with like a big bad, like how when they have Batman, they could create the Joker, they could create the Penguin, etc., etc.
Well,
because they haven't really created any like
right
matchups. You know what I mean? And I think that might just been of the times whenever the character was created, or
do you think it's important to have that dichotomy between, okay, but they're not Batman, so we can't assume they can take on his A-list, or that they can't, you know what I mean? Maybe it's not so much that it's they're female heroes or that they're sidekicks. Right. It is that they're not Batman.
Yeah.
So taking on some of the big A-listers, it's not going to work out for them.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. I don't know. Regardless, I think it's a great villain choice. I think it's a great casting choice, and I'm very excited to see Batgirl. I hope that is a phenomenal movie. And now to your favorite, Batwoman. The other one.
Okay.
The red hair.
Ooh.
Honestly, I don't want to say a more badass character. I think she is in a lot of ways, like in the comics, but a much cooler aesthetic than Batgirl. I love Batgirl. I love Barbara Gordon as a character. But Batwoman to me was always so fucking cool in the comics. Like
she's like Jason Todd to Robin.
She kind of is. She's just like she uses guns. She's like ex-military. She's like, I'm a lesbian and I'm also mad about everything, and like it works. Like it's just badass to me.
Like the Punisher, but with boobs.
Right? Yeah, and she has a lot of baggage and shit, and I just think she was cool. Well, Ruby Rose, ladies and gentlemen, has come out talking her shit. Okay. She has been suddenly, I don't know what CW or Warner Brothers or DC did to piss her off now, well over a year since she left the show Batwoman, where she is now coming out with the horrible work conditions and the dangerous like OSHA violating set conditions and this, that, and the other. All of a sudden people are bullies and sexist and like this, that, and the third. And so Warner Brothers and CW were like, nah, fuck that. Then they had all these like employees coming out being like, she was awful. She was a bully herself. She like they called it a reign of terror. So it's this back and forth of blaming, and it's only kind of hard to believe WB about it or CW, because when Ray Fisher came out about what the set conditions and what working with Joss Whedon was like on Justice League,
right,
and he talked about the racism he experienced and some of the awful conditions he experienced, they also came back and were like, no, you're a fucking liar. So it's hard for me to believe WB when another actress is coming out saying, hey, this was an awful experience and this, that, and the other. And then they're like, oh no, we'll double down again. And just, the Ray Fisher thing kind of went away. And I wish it hadn't, because nobody was held accountable.
Correct.
But I believe Ray Fisher. His stories and the fact that all of the other cast members were willing to back him up on it,
But didn't Joss have kind of like a history of being kind of a dickhead?
Oh yeah, Joss Whedon. I mean, it's one of those things where I don't like trying to talk like I know things,
Right.
Like, I don't know what it's like. I'm not an actor. I don't know what it's like to direct films. I don't know what it's like to be on set. I don't know what directors' temperaments are like in general. But according to reports, he does. So there have been other issues in the past, not like a whole crazy amount of them though. And for the amount of things he's done that were successful, as long as he did Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Firefly and Dr. Horrible Sing-Along blog, like, you would think more things would come out where Neil Patrick Harris would be like, no, the guy's a fucking prick,
Yeah.
But I don't know. So what do you guys think? Comment below. If you're on YouTube, comment below and let us know what you think. Is it Ruby Rose? Could you see her being a very high maintenance, maybe hard person to work with? Or do you think, WB has a history now of covering up when work conditions suck because they don't want a reputation and they're kind of getting one anyways, Or do you think it's just a bunch of he said, she said? Let us know down below as we move on to our next topic. Oh, I'm sorry. I railroad these conversations. I'm so bad. What do you think, Trent?
I think it was kind of like perfect timing, because it did happen like right after DC Fandom came out, whenever people were talking about the show. But I also am on the same like vibe with you, where you're kind of like 50-50 on, you don't know who to go with, because WB has some bad history, but then again, it might be under a new whole directing regime because I don't know who even directs that show, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know the conditions and everything
shows
like that.
typically, every episode has a different director, or one director will do this block of episodes. Or, so it's a very revolving door of talent and people they want to work with.
That, and I know like Ruby Rose, like she got real hot in like 2017, coming off of didn't she come off Orange is the New Black or something?
Orange is the New Black.
That was the one she like popped on.
I feel like she was that what made her really big? Or I feel like there was something right before. Maybe it was Orange is the New Black.
I think she popped on that.
I think she popped
had
on
a movie
Triple X 3.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't either, but I just remember she was in it and seeing one scene where she was on a dirt bike and I think riding a wave. It was terrible. It was stupid.
Neat. That sounds kind of cool, actually.
Have you ever seen the dirt bikes that have the special paddle tires that people will like just fucking full send it into on the beach?
Sounds very Sharknado.
Yeah, it's very. Oh yes.
But like she popped in like 2017 with, I believe it was that, and then like she had a good role in the John Wick series where she was the deaf like interpreter, and she kind of killed it in that. She had like some other movies come out that I don't know how well they did. Like I couldn't name them in my opinion.
Right.
So
I actually think she's a pretty great actor. Or I want to say I think they're non-binary, but I want to say that they're a pretty great talent. I've never seen something where I was like, oh, what a terrible, actor. But I don't know. Sometimes it really is just he said, she said, and I'm not going to take sides in a war that I know nothing about. So hopefully we'll see some more stuff coming out and we can kind of get a little more insight. But for now, is what it is. Facebook is changing its name this week, apparently. It may have already happened because I tend to not like check my phone or do stuff, especially while I've been working all day. And then Trey came and we started doing the podcast, so it's like the end of the day. But Facebook, apparently with all the legal issues and a lot of the stuff, the smoke they've been under by the Supreme Court, they're changing their name. I don't know if changing their name is a legal strategy. I don't know if it's just like, oh, we were planning on doing this anyways, and it's we're changing it to a name that's more all inclusive of all of the properties we now own, right? Like an umbrella name, so it's not just Facebook,
right?
Because now they own IG and they own so many properties, and
do you think it might be one of those things where it's like going from like capital F to lowercase f, or will
it's
they
already
add
lowercase
like,
f?
or will they add like a corporation at the end of it?
Facebook like, Corp, Facebook Inc. Umbrella Corp.
Ooh. Dun, dun,
Isn't
dun.
it already lowercase though? Isn't that the symbol? Is a lowercase f?
I don't know.
Real quick, what do you think? Give me one guess. What do you think they're going to change their name to?
Moneybags.
Moneybags.
I don't know. It fits.
I think they're going to change it to. I don't know, man. I think that they're going to change it to Umbrella Corp keeps coming to mind because they're going to start buying everything, and then suddenly we're under a regime.
Or do they just say fuck everybody and make it Amazon book and just collab?
Amazon book
take over the world.
What if we found out that Mark Zuckerberg sold everything to Jeff Bezos,
right?
And for like this absurd amount of billions of dollars,
they get married and just combine the wealth, just start buying states.
Now it's Face Mazon. Face Mazon coming to you.
Sounds like a cool skin cream.
You can social media instead of it now being Facebook and then having all of the Amazon ads that you see.
Right.
It'll now have buy now buttons under them, and you can hit it while on Facebook, and it'll buy it without you having to leave the page. Face Mazon, guys, get the fuck onto it because
there you go.
That's a great idea. I hate how much I support, like how much money I give Amazon. I think I've talked about this before. I talk about it all the time. I can't live without it now, though. And I hate it because I hate Jeff Bezos and I want to squish his little head in my hands. But
why do you hate him?
Huh?
Why do you hate him?
Because he's a bagillionaire who literally could cure homelessness in America, could cure hunger in America, in the world probably, if he chose to, and not lose his billionaire status. I know for a fact they ran the numbers, and he could cure homelessness in America. He could house everybody who needs it in America and not lose his billionaire status.
Yeah, but a couple of people could do that. You have a couple of people in China that
and I don't like those motherfuckers either. I'm not a fan of rich people, personally. It's not just Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, the rich stay rich for a reason, baby.
I got beef with Elon Musk, too. You know? Yeah. I got beef, some Szechuan beef. You know?
I guess. I don't know. You make your money. You make your money. Granted, it would be nice.
Look, don't get me wrong. I'm not like an anti-capitalist to that degree. I do appreciate people who have gotten where they are for a reason. I just think that in our current state of how America is, it is so absurdly obscured. You know, how rich stay rich and get richer, and poor, it's easier and easier to fall into poverty.
Right.
Something about it to me just doesn't seem right.
There's always like a yin to yang. Like you solve that, then something else might pop up because of that solved problem.
But that being said, I'm rooting for Face Mazan.
All right.
Face Mazan is now my social media site.
Boom. Copyright.
Trey, you
LLC.
and me both this weekend watched the Injustice movie.
We did.
We have we have different opinions on this.
Right.
I watched it, very much enjoyed it. Now, just to give you guys some background, I've played both of the games, obviously.
Same here.
And I've read, like, not all of them because there's hundreds of issues of the comic now, but I've read, like, the first several years of the Injustice comics and love them.
That's where you got me beat.
Tom Taylor's a god.
Yep.
So you didn't like the movie, and I actually very much enjoyed it.
Right.
Tell me why you didn't, and then I'd like to counter.
I feel like it was, like, if you compare all the cutscenes in the video games,
right,
and how they make a movie in themselves.
Oh yeah, and I think that just in the first game, all the cutscenes equal to longer than this movie was.
Right,
just in the first game,
it's longer. It's more elaborate. It's more story.
Right,
and those are basically just
visually more appealing.
And those are just basically segues into getting into new fights.
Sure. Oh yeah.
So,
no, absolutely.
It was just, I liked it, but it's not one of those like top tier, like, oh, this is going to be goated as like one of the best animated type of movies for DC. Sure. It's definitely one of like the lower tier ones.
Yeah.
Just because it was shot kind of poorly, in my opinion. And then
I didn't really love the animation style compared to like how great the video game looks.
Right.
And then you choose that animation style.
Like, a couple of things I didn't like about the animation style. I hated like the lines on the knuckles.
I noticed that when I was watching it. I was like, why do these knuckles all have this like deep black line traced around them?
That kind of bothered me. And like some of like the background scenes were pretty like cheap compared to like
really
the actual like movement of like, say, like the Batmobile going down like an alleyway.
See, I didn't notice that.
And you see like the buildings, they look a little bit different. It's like, the integrity of that was kind of shit.
Okay, that's interesting.
And then I hated the portrayal of the Joker. I didn't appreciate the voice actor role.
I didn't
of that.
love the voice actor, but I didn't hate like the storyline, obviously, for the Joker, because it was the same from the game.
I like the storyline. It's just the actor's like portrayal of it,
right?
And like the depth that he took it, I didn't like it.
That voice actor was like somebody trying really hard to do Mark Hamill and just doing a really bad impression of Mark Hamill, like a bad.
It almost came out Scottish too.
Yeah, it did have a weird kind of UK-ish. Yeah, 100%.
Hated Harley Quinn.
Okay, I don't think
almost more than what was that one where she like rapes like Nightwing, the Batman?
That one's a fucked up. That's I think it's just called Batman and Harley Quinn.
Yeah, like how like that. Shitty that movie is.
Yeah,
like,
people gloss over that. She does straight up rape Nightwing.
Hey,
ties him to a bed and then just fucks him. And that's that's crazy.
Hey, but yeah, I hated her direction, and then I hated how like simp they made Wonder Woman.
Well, that's not super inaccurate to the comics though. She does kind of align herself with Superman, and then at some point is like, get over Lois, like I'm with you, kind of thing.
But if like you want to do that, and you could always tie off like how Batman and Wonder Woman had their thing, just because of like how fast paced this movie is, they just kind of missed over how like Wonder Woman could have been like, I have to go with him because he's the more powerful and blah 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 blah, and like get that whole dynamic into it.
Sure,
but they didn't, because it was just kind of, all right, let's quickly get this out.
So for me, I like that for the most part up until the end.
Right.
Because that's what DC animated movies have been doing lately. They've been like, hey, we're going to take this like acclaimed storyline that people love, and we're going to adapt it to a movie.
Right.
And then somebody's like, but I think I can end it better than the book, even though nobody wants it changed. Hush is the perfect example of that. For whatever reason, Hush is one of the best Batman stories out there. And the fact that they made an animated movie and some asshole was like, but I think I can come up with a better ending.
I wasn't too mad at it though, compared to like this one.
But did you read the Hush?
Oh yeah, I mean I'm in agreement with you, but I'm talking about like the only reason
I bring it up is because it obviously they changed the ending. However, I'm okay with it because they had to.
Yeah.
Because all of the Injustice content would not fit into a feature-length movie.
Right.
And they didn't bother doing like a part 1, part 2, whatever, which I kind of wish they had. But what I really liked about it was just the fact that a lot of the things I loved from the story, they hit on. One of my favorite things ever, which I don't think they did in the game, but I know for a fact it was in the comics, was when Green Arrow saves Harley Quinn and is like, if Superman finds you, he will kill you. He saves her, and then she's like, where are we? And he's like, we're in the Arrow Cave. And she's like, that's such a stupid name. Why don't you just call it the Quiver? Because that's where you put arrows, in a quiver. And he's like, that's a better name. That was straight out of the comics. Again, I don't remember if that was in the game at all. I don't think it was, but it was straight out of the comics, and I thought that was so funny they included that because I laughed so hard when reading it. There were just little things like that I really appreciated that they kept in.
Same here.
All in all, if I had to give it a score, I'd give it a 5, 5.5. I don't hate it, but I didn't love it. You know,
I'm at like a 4.
Okay, and that's fair. You know,
there's just like a lot of the characters that I wish were in there. They just kind of like chose to dip out whenever they all split apart from the Justice League.
Right.
And then like, especially like, you literally had a perfect tie-in to have fucking Aquaman help you get down. You're just like, nah, I'm just gonna have Plastic Man.
There was so many characters featured in the Injustice storyline that I don't know why they chose to do this movie in the first place. Right. You know, without having like a better plan for what they were going to do.
They also made the Flash a bitch. He got so damn easy.
Yeah, which is interesting because he was kind of a badass in the comics. Yeah. They also didn't feature Jim Gordon at all.
I'm kind of understanding on that, but
they didn't feature the Super Pill storyline because again, they couldn't in the. I don't know if this was in the games either. I don't remember. But in the books, they had LexCorp had developed a pill that'll give you like the powers of Superman for only like an hour. And so like there was a part where Batman punches Superman in the face and breaks his hand.
Right.
What happens right after that in the comics is Batman punches Superman in the face and like shatters his hand.
Right.
And then Superman gets tapped on the shoulder and Alfred lays him out, like knocks him the fuck out.
Hell yeah.
Because he had just taken one of the super pills and punches Superman in the face. And he's like, Master Kent, I am very disappointed in you. Please leave, my home or something like that. And it was a badass moment. But again, they couldn't fit all that. I just don't know why you go into Injustice, which is so long and storied, and not have like a part 1, part 2. You could have done 5 parts,
right?
And I would have been happier if you had just like kept it a little more.
5 parts, make them all like 45 minutes a piece.
Yeah, even if they were like an hour and a half a piece, I don't care. Just do it in release it over the next 3 years, and just do it good, And I will agree with you. Not a huge fan of that animation, and it just.
What was your thoughts on Damian whenever he killed Nightwing?
Again, straight out of the comics, I was super cool with it because like it was line for line the same stuff from the comics. And
but in the comics, he literally just starts off with just him throwing it at his head.
And it was the same thing. You know what's crazy is he says he always catches it. That was the line from the movie where I kind of geeked because in the books it was the same. He was like, he always catches that.
Yeah.
So he threw an attack at him that he had countered 1 billion times, and you saw him. When they were training earlier, counter the same move.
But he didn't. Superman caught it.
I was about to say Superman caught it in the earlier one. And so Damian wasn't thinking about it. He threw it, but Nightwing didn't catch it. And again, Nightwing coming back as Deadman or Deadwing was super cool to me because, again, straight from the comics. And I just thought that it was all fun. Like, to me, as a fan of the books, there was a lot of fun stuff put in there.
Yeah.
So the only thing they changed was the ending, but again, that was way more for time constraints.
Right.
We need to move on because we've been talking about this for way too long, and we have like stuff I really want to talk about the Halloween movies. Let's not spend too much time on this because we don't know anything about it. World War Hulk. They did announce, or not announce, but it has been kind of leaked that a solo Hulk movie is in the works. And it is rumored to be based on... No, Universal owns the Hulk.
Oh, okay.
No, it is through the MCU. It's still Mark Ruffalo, but it is meant the same way that Thor Ragnarok was kind of based on, or parts of it were kind of based on Planet Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
This solo Hulk movie will be based on World War Hulk, which in World War Hulk in the comics it came right after Planet Hulk. He is living out in space because he was sent out by the Illuminati because they couldn't control him on Earth. He was too dangerous to Earth. So he gets sent off. He becomes a gladiator, fights people, all this shit. Finds a woman, alien, marries her, and then she is slaughtered due to another attack of something. So he finds his way back to Earth. You guys know that the Hulk's power comes from how angry he is. That is literally the angrier he is, the stronger he becomes. Mm-hmm. He becomes angrier than ever before because he's more sentient. He's not like just a dumb, he had a wife, like he was married, and she's murdered. So he becomes what they called World Breaker Hulk. He becomes so mad that it's like every step he takes, he has to try not to just destroy the planet. Mm-hmm. And he runs through everyone, tries to kill the Illuminati, which is like Iron Man and Reed Richards and Doctor Strange and a bunch of like the top, dogs.
Gotcha.
The Avengers, the X-Men, like he's just plowing through all this trim, know. So I'm pretty excited because that sounds pretty cool. Now, I don't know what aspects of that storyline they're going to put into this movie, but it will be very exciting to see the Hulk get a solo movie again after, I think 2008 was the one with Edward Norton, which is MCU. I mean, that's technically the same Hulk.
Yeah. Are they going to be tying it into She-Hulk at all, or no?
Well,
maybe?
So that's the thing is he is going to be, Mark Ruffalo will be in She-Hulk. We already know that. They announced that at D23 or whatever they announced the She-Hulk. So he will he be just Bruce Banner like he was at the end of Shang-Chi?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Will he be the Hulk? I don't know. I think that for She-Hulk he'll just be Bruce Banner, and then he'll find his way back into being Hulk. I don't know if he's going to be where he's Banner and turns into Hulk. I think that when that World War Hulk movie comes around, he will be full-time Hulk, but he won't be like that Professor Hulk where I think he'll be a kind of like Thor Ragnarok Hulk where he was kind of dumber, he was angry, he was just always Hulk, kind of thing like that.
Without like all the comedic aspects into it.
Right, yeah. I don't think he'll be as, I got to tell you, that was my least favorite part about like Endgame was his whole Professor Hulk, him taking the selfie with the kids and stuff. I don't know. It didn't do it for me. I like the taco scene. I do like, when you're saying Ant-Man the tacos, yeah, I will give it that.
I love tacos from Hulk.
Oh, bro, I'd eat Hulk's taco anytime I could, man. I'd eat that taco.
Freaking kinky boy.
Let me tell you guys, I would eat that taco.
There you go. Don't get a beard like that for nothing.
Hayden Christensen is returning to Star Wars, which we already knew.
Right.
It was announced that he would be part of Obi-Wan, but it was just recently announced that he will return first in the Ahsoka solo show, which of course is tied to the Mandalorian. So all of this is like officially Star Wars canon, which I'm sure we all knew, but it's pretty cool.
I wonder if he's going to come back as like flashbacks as Anakin because they had their thing.
Is he going to be a ghost?
Be Darth Vader?
Like what do they call it? A Force ghost?
Yeah.
It's going to be a Force ghost? Now in Obi-Wan, he will probably, he'll still be alive, obviously, because he doesn't die until Obi-Wan is an old man, and he kills Obi-Wan, technically, in Star Wars New Hope. So, in the Obi-Wan series, he'll still be alive, and he'll be Darth Vader.
Yeah,
but in Ahsoka...
Yeah, in the Obi-Wan one, it's the downtime after he gets fucked up.
Right.
And turns into Vader.
Well, in Ahsoka, it could technically be, it could have a lot of flashbacks, so maybe he's in flashback capacity, when he was still her mentor between the Clone Wars and now. So I don't know. I just think that that's going to be really cool. I geek about Star Wars stuff. I wish, what sucks is I'm such a huge Star Wars fan.
Mm-hmm. You still haven't seen what's it called?
The Bad Batch?
Yeah.
I haven't.
Or finished Clone Wars?
I haven't finished Clone Wars. I was about to say, I'm like the least... I call myself such a huge Star Wars fan, and I do so little to maintain that. I fall in love, even though I don't watch every little thing because I can't get through Clone Wars. I'm sorry. I tried.
It's so fun.
It got boring for me. I'll try it again eventually, but like my anxiety makes it so hard to get into shows that are long, that I know are long. But I fall in love with the magic of Star Wars, with like the feeling when every time a new season of The Mandalorian comes out, I fall in love, man.
Right.
I fall when I go back and watch the original trilogy or the prequels or even some of the sequels. I fall in love with that. It's like, it's such a cool vibe. It's such a great, it sends you immediately into like flashback mode, and you remember all your favorite childhood shit. Star Wars has been entrenched in our lives my entire life. And
speaking of that, have you seen Star Wars Visions yet?
No. Is that out already?
That came out like a while ago.
Really?
Yeah, the whole series already came out.
What is that though? That's just an anthology, right?
Yeah, an anthology, and it's all anime, like different style of animes.
Okay.
And, like some of them look like manga and everything like that.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with like Luke and like the original story. It's just different storylines, and have nothing to do with, or some of them have something to do with like the Sith and the Jedi, but it's pretty fun. Like the first 2 episodes are great. The rest of them are kind of cool design, and then the last one is badass.
Okay.
But it's a fun watch.
I'll have
like,
to check it out, because I did, when I saw the preview of it, I was like, damn, this looks dope.
Yeah.
So I didn't know. I don't go on Disney Plus hardly ever.
You're not
I just
wrong.
wait for like the shit I'm waiting for to come out. But Disney Plus, I never go on to like check what's new, so I just missed it. But I'll definitely watch it. So we only have a couple more things before we get to the Halloween stuff, but I definitely want to touch on them a little bit.
Right.
Uncharted. We got a trailer that came out.
Yep.
So we have Tom Holland as Nathan Drake.
Right.
And Mark Wahlberg is playing Sully. Right.
Right.
Which I'm sure most of you or all of you already know this, but Uncharted being there were 4 games in the series.
Technically 5, but 4, yeah.
Technically 5. It was a PlayStation exclusive. It was a what do they call it?
Like Game of the Decade.
Dirty Dog or
Naughty Dog.
Naughty Dog. Thank you.
Yep.
Same studio who made The Last of Us, which is the most perfect game ever made.
Right.
And I can't wait for the HBO show. I'm very excited.
Right.
It looked great, though. I mean, Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland both look fantastic. I have never played Uncharted.
Really?
Which I feel bad about, but I just never did. And I really want to. Somebody told me I can skip 1 and 2 and just play 3 and 4.
Play any of them, to be honest. They're just so
really
fun. And it's like, if you can take Indiana Jones and that amazing feeling you get from like the music and everything like that, and put it into a video game and stretch it out between like 6 video games and always have like that.
That's awesome.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah, it looked great. And I saw on YouTube, I was watching the other day. Hey, this hasn't gone off, by the way.
Hey,
I fixed
Steve.
it. Look
there
at me. I saw a YouTube video the other day. It was only like 2 minutes long, but it put up clips from the trailer and put them side by side with their scenes from the games.
Yeah.
And the games looked obviously phenomenal, but it did give you an appreciation because the movie looks good.
Yep.
You know, it looked very similar to how the game was shot. It didn't look corny. It was awesome. So I'm pretty excited about that.
The thing I'm glad that they did change out of like the pre-pictures that they dropped is they got rid of the mustache that
Sully.
Yeah, that Sully had. I mean, he still has like the shadow right now,
right.
But they gave Mark Wahlberg like a big fake, like terrible looking mustache. And it's like,
really?
Come on, let's not do that.
And they took it away because people were like, that sucks.
That, and it came out right whenever Invincible came out, and people were making a lot of memes of Mark Wahlberg being the dad.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, all right, let's get rid of the stash. But it looks fire. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. This is one that I didn't even know about. You added to the notes, and I'm pretty interested in. Harry Styles was cast in the MCU Eternals movie as Eros, which is Thanos' brother, who later becomes a good guy who joins the Avengers under the name Star Fox. A lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
With the Eternals movie being so close to out, which is it out now? It's out, right? Or next weekend or this weekend?
I want to say it's at like the end of this week.
Fuck, it's
Might
soon.
be like the 1st of November or some shit.
Right, like it's very
don't know.
soon. For us to just now get news that Harry Styles is in the movie,
right?
That seems a little crazy.
I wonder if he's even gonna be in it, or if he's just like the cast got leaked and he's probably like the end credit scene type of guy.
Yeah, maybe it's an end credit scene thing.
I have no idea.
Do you think he looks like Thanos? I don't know what he looks like. I've never seen. I don't know this character.
Like I read a little brief description because I'm not that hard on the like Marvel.
Right.
But apparently he's like kind of like the butt of the joke type of like Thanos character.
Okay.
Like how you have Josh Brolin's character as like the hardcore like Death Destroyer. He's kind of like the hot boy, like I can do what I want.
Oh, okay.
Type of guy.
Interesting. So very different personalities.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, again, I'm down to watch it. I may not be a huge Marvel fan when it comes to comics. I don't read any Marvel comics now, but I do love the MCU and I love these movies. So,
yeah.
It's one of those things where I think as a fan, I couldn't do both. It was like the comics were so different and the history of comics were so different that I was like, all right, I'm going to only read my DC comics because I love them more than life. And then I'll just enjoy the movies and forget about the comics. So
yeah, same here.
I'm definitely going to watch it. That's very cool. And then we were going to talk about Hawkeye, but we don't have time. And there's nothing super interesting to talk about Hawkeye right now. No, just the release date is November 24th, 2021.
Yep.
And the last thing is Marvel's Hit Monkey got a trailer, an animated series for Hulu.
Right.
And it looks so much like Invincible. It's like the same art style,
yeah.
Right? As the
I think it's made by the same company
Invincible
too.
TV show.
I wonder if Robert Kirkman even has a tie into it. He might.
I don't know who wrote Hit Monkey. Was it Robert Kirkman?
I don't think he did.
Or
because
Kirkman.
All those like Robert Kirkman stuff are kind of under his universe.
But, I'd have to check.
The style of it does definitely look like it.
I'd have to look. The luckily I'm on a computer. Who wrote Hit Monkey? I will say that Jason Sudeikis is in it, which is very exciting. Daniel Way. Okay, Daniel Way wrote Hit Monkey.
Okay.
Jason Sudeikis is in it, and I'm very excited. I love Jason Sudeikis, SNL alum. He's also the main character in Ted Lasso. He is Ted Lasso.
Yep.
He's great, and I think that him narrating, I didn't know that he basically speaks for the both of them because he's a ghost, and the monkey is just a monkey, and he has to avenge Jason Sudeikis' character while Jason Sudeikis' ghost is like talking to him. And it's a really weird, but it looks so good and so funny. If you haven't seen the trailer, please go watch the trailer. It looks fucking hysterical.
Yeah. Doesn't that come out soon?
November 17th, release on Hulu. So
sweet.
Yeah, that'll be really cool.
That'll be a fun one to add to the rotation.
Finally, we're already at like a 45-minute mark. But finally, we can talk about Halloween. We can talk about spookiness. Before we talk about the actual Halloween movie, there is one other bit of spookiness we just want to remind you. This week, DC versus Vampires and Task Force Z come out in comic shops near you. Right. Task Force Z is Jason Todd, Red Hood, leading a task force, kind of like Task Force X, Suicide Squad, but they're all zombies, so characters who have died, like Bane and Bane's dead, and Katana and some other really cool characters. He's leading a zombie task force, but he is not a zombie, I don't think, because he hasn't died. And then DC versus Vampires is a 12-issue, and it is obviously just a cool vampire story.
Cover A looks badass.
The cover A does look really badass.
And you got Batman going hard.
Yeah, so just throwing that out there, but Halloween Kills. Let's focus on that second movie, and then we'll talk a little bit about the first in between. Give me your 1 out of 10.
For the second one?
For the new one.
For the new one? That's tough because the ending kind of fucked it for me, to be honest.
See, the ending redeemed it for me. That's crazy.
Oh, fuck no. Ending fucked it for me.
Oh, man.
I'd give it like a 8.
This is a complete spoiler review, by the way. We're going to be talking about the ending and shit. I'll give it an 8. Okay, that's interesting. I wouldn't give it higher than an 8. Too? Yeah, I'll give it an 8.
Okay. I didn't hate it. I liked it a lot.
The reason it's at an 8 for me is that there was this middle section of this movie where the town is like rioting at the hospital, talking about we want to go hunt Michael Myers, and it was just a really weird, like, whole 45 minutes of the movie.
Yeah,
and then
felt like filler.
Right, it felt like filler, and then they end up murdering, essentially, like forced by suicide because he just killed himself to get away from them, but they were going to murder him anyways.
The escaped convict.
Another escaped convict who they thought was Michael Myers because I guess it was meant to be like mob mentality, like nobody would listen to reason and shit. It felt weird. The movie itself is the whole thing is a long trailer for the third movie.
Okay, yeah.
It is a whole... Now, not in a horrible way. It was very entertaining. Michael Myers has some amazing kills. There's some scenes in it that make you go, meh, you know?
Right.
But it definitely had that feel like Amazing Spider-Man 2 had.
Okay.
Where, like, this movie is only here to bridge the first and third movies.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah.
And they made that clear by the ending.
Kinda, yeah.
So you also forget, right at the beginning, that the dad of Laurie's granddaughter, the dad was murdered in the last movie. So they talk about it like once, where she's like, "I miss Dad. Like I can't believe he killed Dad." And then they just like are like fucking whatever. And it's like, dude, your fucking dad was murdered. Like you kind of glossed over that pretty quick.
It definitely had a lot of weird shit going on to it. Like, I mean, the opening, like the legit opening, where it like started off as like the very first like 60s or 70s style and all that shit.
Right.
I dig that because it's like, okay, you got the homage to like the classic, and then you get to present day to where like it literally opens up as like the fire truck is going past Laurie and them after Laurie fucking got in the stomach and is like heading towards the hospital. She blacks out. Firefighters get there. They start doing work, doing their job.
Dude. Can we talk about how that is like the most brutal scene in the movie right at the beginning?
Because that first movie, I believe he had like 17 confirmed kills. And then that fucking firefighter scene, he's already up to fucking like 14.
I keep forgetting to verify this, but an article came out that said that this Halloween Kills has the highest kill count of any horror movie, like really? Of any slasher movie, any like these in a single movie. Like more than any Freddy or Jason or any of those. Like single slasher, not like, obviously there have been movies where like mass amounts of people die. You know, there are movies about the Holocaust, and that's like 6 million right there. So there you go. We weren't supposed to laugh at that. Bad joke. But I mean, he had a really high kill count. It was insane how many people died by the end of this movie.
Because the firefighters get in there and they're putting out the fire, and then one of the firefighters falls through, like, into the basement, and then the fucking, which that part kind of fucking was weird whenever he fell into the basement, and then the door opened up inside. Because I didn't understand that part, because I get it, he got locked in by the top parts. Right. But he didn't get locked in underneath anything down there.
To be honest, I'd have to watch it again. I feel like I thought he was hiding himself.
He might have been hiding to, like, in like
surprise.
The shadow.
I thought he was hiding himself to like surprise the firemen.
Because I could have swore he like, right when the firefighter hit, he was like dazed and confused. Right. And then like, I could have swore a door opened up or like some shit, and then Michael came out and fucked him.
So that firefighter scene, I had a problem with in the same way I now have a problem with completely the opposite a scene later in the movie, and I want to explain. Okay. He comes out, and it really, honestly, pretty good cinematography. I mean, the flames look cool. He walks out the door, and it just looks fucking gnarly. And then he starts taking down these firemen, but they're coming at him like one by one, and they're just getting mowed down. And then
that was a cool scene though. Whenever like they got like the concrete saw, and they're just grabbing shit off the truck, and like, oh fuck, we gotta do this.
It was cool in a sense of like, it was pretty bad. It was like a scene from 300. I mean, he was just murdering them, but you're also like, why are they all just like standing by? And then as soon as the one dude gets killed, oh, my turn, you know?
But that's that movie though, because like you can't make Michael Myers like, I mean, not to come back to my favorite fight scene, but like a Daredevil fight scene to where like everything's smooth and fluid. He's a fucking monster.
See, you say that, and then later in the same movie, he gets surrounded by people in the middle of the street, and they all start beating the fucking shit out of him, and then suddenly he gets up and murders like 18 people, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
But yeah, he does like one quick move with the slash, and then, which I kind of understand, they probably shot it with COVID or just to be like more dramatic and have like the Laurie voiceover, where like he's killing each one of them, but it's just like the two people on camera.
You know what I will say?
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. It's weird, like, I really liked that movie. Like, the kills were fun.
Yes.
They had some horror, like actual like shock horror to it, rather than just boring like gore.
Yeah.
They had a little bit of comedy into it too with
Agreed.
it. Like, the story wise, it was pretty well paced until you got up until like the final ending, or not like the end, but like how you're talking about where they forced the guy to like kind of kill himself out of like because he was scared and shit. Because that part I didn't like at all. Because right whenever they do that, they like they go from like, all right, it took you literally like 35 minutes of the movie to get all the way upstairs. The guy jumps and then they get downstairs in like 30 seconds. Like, oh,
and
God.
Again, it was kind of this
fuck.
weird filler. Right?
I can't believe we made him do that. All right, fuck that guy. Let's go get Michael Myers.
I will give them credit. First of all, two things I want to give them credit on: the person in a lantern. When you look in the fire truck and he carved out the face of one of the firemen to look like a jack-o'-lantern, like he carved out the triangles of the eyes and the smile, and he stuck a road flare in the head to light it up. That was disgusting, and I loved it. The other thing is, this is the only movie I think I've ever seen where the main villain, who's a famous slasher icon, gets ganged up on by like 30 people in the street. It gets the shit beat out of him. I don't remember that happening.
If you rewatch that scene, sorry to interrupt, but if you rewatch that scene and just look at the people in the background and like the different weapons they have, obviously you have somebody with a gun, you have the main bald dude with a bat, and like other people with random things. Right. But I don't know who the fuck like did this woman dirty, but like in the background there's just this like she literally is dressed up as like a mom with like an apron, and she has an iron in her hand. But it's like a plastic like bullshit Walmart iron instead of like a metal one. And I'm just like, really, bitch? What are you gonna do to fucking? What are you gonna do to him with the iron?
It was just it was a dumb scene because again they're all kicking the shit out of him, and like they're stabbing him over and over. Like he's getting like pin cushioned, and he gets hit over the head with like a crowbar and shit. And then when he's getting murdered, all of a sudden, he gets up and is like, I was kidding, and then just starts murking everybody.
And another thing I hate about that is, like, before they even get to the jump scene, like, it's the daughter's boyfriend, and the boyfriend's dad go to the house to try to fucking kill him. The dad's like, all right, I got to do this on my own because I was a pussy when I was a little kid. Goes in there, easily gets murked, and then they do, like, the little, like, hit the corners, jump scares, and all that. And then whenever the boyfriend gets fucked up, she comes running out with a shotgun, and then he just smacks the shotgun out of her hand. She falls down the stairs, gets fucked up. Then he like rips the dude's neck in half and shit like that, which was brutal and pretty badass. I will tell you that
I think that somehow him killing that boyfriend was the most brutal kill of the movie. He took his time on it, and he just kept fucking him up. And then at the very end, he's walking down the stairs and it's almost like, I'm not going to pay him any more attention. And then you hear the kid start choking on his own blood. And he's like, oh, I need to kill him more. And he just rips his head around. And it was so brutal. Like,
but after that, then the mom comes and saves the daughter because she's fucked up. Then the mom gets the mask and like, come on, you have to chase me. Literally, if you like can take like a sky drone view of where she ran from the Michael Myers house, she literally only ran like a street over. You have Michael Myers house, a house, and then this street.
Right. She ran a street over. That's what I got too.
You have the mob group, fuck them all up, and then they're like, all right, you can go be with your daughter. And she's like, okay, cool. And then before she goes, stabs him in the back of the head, badass, everything like that. Gets to the daughter, and then
they're just sitting like, I wonder what happened to Michael.
They're sitting on they're sitting on the fucking stoop. Yep. There's only one entrance, and they're even on the fucking stairwell too. The only stairwell that goes upstairs. And then they start doing like the whole talking Lori like talk voiceover bullshit. Right. And then Michael Myers just gets up and starts fucking murking everybody, which is pretty cool. Yet you have all the cops that are surrounding the Michael Myers house. They can't fucking hear that a street over.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought the same thing. There's paramedics, there's cops, and then none of them can't hear nothing. The mass murder happening one street over. And then we don't mean one street over like down the street. We mean like street houses street, like it's like
the next neighborhood, the next
40
block.
yards away.
Yeah, and then to top it off, she goes upstairs to look out the window, and don't forget, you still have the daughter, the paramedics, and everybody sitting on the fucking stairs and sitting on the stairwell. Not just the stairwell, the stairs too.
Before you spoil the ending real quick, I just want to point out, they came up with a psychological reason behind that, which I thought was kind of interesting. Because in every movie, at least in the first one specifically, you have that moment where Michael walks up to the window as if he's looking out and he's looking down, like for Laurie. And they said he's not looking out. He's staring at his own reflection in the mirror.
Which
and
I like that.
I thought it was pretty cool. It was cool, like, kind of like, this is like behind the mind of Michael. Not so much that he's not looking down and trying to scare Laurie. He's reflecting on who he is and like the murders he commits and why he loves he just loves the killing. Like it's like a dog. Like he just loves it.
Because they said he has the strength of a grown man, the brain of like a 7-year-old, and the instincts of like a feral animal. Yeah. So like all combines and to make him.
Well, so the mom goes back upstairs, and the cop said that like one of the reasons he got caught when back in the 70s was because he was trying to understand. He was staring out into the reflection of that window, and then Michael came out and was like, stab. Yeah. And the mom is like, oh, it's over. And then goes up to stare at the reflection too, and is like, what did he see? And then what happens?
She got fucking stabbed.
But
like, how the fuck does she get stabbed?
He shows up right behind her.
You have them sitting on the stairwell and on the stairs.
So now
there's the only stairs that go up there.
Now Laurie's granddaughter is an orphan. Both of her parents were murdered by Michael Myers.
She still has grandma, technically.
Well, doesn't that still make her an orphan, though, if both your parents are killed? Are you orphaned if you still have a living grandparent or somebody who can take care of you?
I mean, Batman doesn't have a grandparent, does he?
He had Alfred. He was still an orphan.
But not by blood, though.
That's true. I don't know what dictates
the legality of it.
An orphan. Either way, it was a pretty good movie.
Yeah, it was fun. It's just
again,
that ending
I'll give it an 8.
Killed it to me.
I enjoyed it.
Like, if they had that ending to where, like, he fucks them all up, and then, like, whenever she's looking out the window, she can see over the houses, because the Michael Myers house is the only 2-story house in the fucking block, which is fucking stupid.
Dude, that's actually true.
Yeah,
holy shit.
She's looking out the window, and you could have her, like, look out of that window.
Like, every other house on this fucking street is a one-floor home.
And then all you had to do was just have, like, a fire truck, like, leaving or some shit, and then the lights going through, like, you could have, like, the power shoot out, and then the lights going through from the fire truck.
Right.
Show, like it goes into the window, shows the light, and then it goes, and you can see it across the street, and you just see Michael Myers. Either you could do like the whole where he's like fucking him up, or you could do it to where she like can kind of see something, and then she finally sees just Michael Myers standing there with all the bodies around her. End it there. That's a way better fucking ending than having her somehow sneak up the damn stairs whenever everybody's sitting on the stairs.
We need to get you to Hollywood.
I need
you writing my movies for me from now on.
The white Mark Bernard, damn it.
The white Mark Bernard. No, definitely agree. It was weird but it was also a really cool moment somehow still. She's staring into that reflection, and in my head, I was thinking like, she's trying to understand Michael. She's trying to understand, like, what did he see? And then all of a sudden, he's fucking right behind her, and, somehow I was surprised. I was like, fuck, how did this happen?
What was your favorite moments of that movie?
Favorite moments of that movie? Again, the human lantern, the fireman murder scene. People were complaining. I told you, I think, that there was a petition online to get that scene canceled because
fuck no, that was a good scene.
Somebody was a snowflake, and no, it was badass. And
I like the what were they? Big Dave, Little Dave.
Big John and Lil John.
Yeah,
that was my least favorite moment of the movie because, like, every time I see, like, really adorable gay representation, I'm like, my little heart, I can't. And they were adorable. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, that they're just about to get murdered because shit starts happening. I'm like, no, Big John and Lil John.
The portrayal of those characters and, like, the comedic aspects and, like, the fuck the little kids whenever they did the razor blade trick and all that.
Dude, that was savage as fuck.
Yeah, that was
those
good.
Kids made that was a trick. Yeah. I'll tell you what.
Fuck yeah.
I love that the little one, the shorter one, was Big John.
Yeah.
And the bigger one, the tall one, was Lil John. And Lil John, the tall one, he was played by an actor named Michael McDonald, who was in Mad TV for, do you remember Stewart? Like, look what I can do. He was like...
That sounds very familiar.
He was like a grown man. He like painted his face white, and he had like a mop kind of blonde haircut, and he was
kind
just
of
like
a Simple Jack type of deal.
No, 100%. He looked just like Simple Jack.
I know exactly what
and he was
like,
look what I can do. And he would like...
That was him?
That was Michael McDonald.
Oh,
So
wow.
Michael McDonald, I was a big fan of him growing up because I love Mad TV. And then when I was a kid, I was watching Leprechaun 2, and Michael McDonald was a barista in Leprechaun 2, and the leprechaun slams his face into the espresso machine, like jabs it through the eye, and then turns on the steam.
Ooh.
And I just always loved that little bit because it's like, I love that people who are in slasher and horror movies, they have like that history, and they always come back to do another like slasher horror movies and stuff like that. The teacher, I'm sorry, real quick, the woman from the Insidious movies, the older woman who's like you ever seen Insidious?
Yeah.
Is it Eileen? Is it whatever?
I don't remember.
She's the old woman. She's like a psychic, and in the first Insidious movie, they get her to like feel the psychic presence of the child and like get them to the unknown. And she was in all of them, and later she dies, and she's still helping in like the fourth Insidious, like as a ghost. I can't remember her name. It was like Eileen or Maureen or something like that.
No idea.
Anyway, she was the original school teacher in A Nightmare on Elm Street. Like you go back and watch A Nightmare on Elm Street, and she was the teacher of Johnny Depp and the other kids in the original Nightmare. And so it's just kind of cool because they're
all
a lot
tied
of
in,
them,
little family type deal.
Yeah, a lot of like these actors, they end up loving doing scary shit, and so they always come back, you know. And I just think that stuff's cool.
Oh yeah, but I love them, and then I also love the black couple, the nurse and the doctor.
I did too.
They were really good.
They didn't get the ending they deserved. Yeah. They got murdered.
They hit all the tropes of just like, I'm not getting out of the fucking car.
Right.
What are you getting out of the car? Don't leave the fucking keys.
Of people not knowing how guns work.
Yeah.
People not. That was another thing.
That was the funniest scene whenever she came back blasting with the damn Desert Eagle, and he's just standing.
Desert Eagle.
He's just standing there, just looking at her like that, and then like right before the last shot comes off, kicks the door open, and the door swings, and she shoots herself in the face.
She fucking.
So fucking.
She runs up to him.
Yeah.
Lifts up a Desert Eagle. He kicks the door and it smacks it and it spins around and she shoots herself through the face. That was the most insane shit I had ever seen. First of all, who gave this little girl a deagle? And it's
no, she took it from him because
that's right.
Because he was being
a pussy.
And she was like, I'm from the streets, I know how to do this. Obviously the fuck not. She missed every shot, and Michael was just
every shot.
Just fucking staring at her the whole time.
That you just did remind me of something else. There was
who got too.
The main dude, like the adult guy, that was Michael Anthony Hall.
Okay.
He was. Do you ever see like the old 80s?
Familiar.
Do you ever see like the old 80s movies, like The Breakfast Club?
Mm-hmm.
You remember The Breakfast Club?
Yeah.
You know the nerd?
He was the nerd?
He was the nerd in The Breakfast Club.
Okay.
Johnny Be Good, Pretty in Pink, maybe not Pretty in Pink, Weird Science, stuff like that. Sweet 16, or 16 Candles, I'm sorry. So he was the nerd in all of those John Hughes movies. Michael Anthony Hall, phenomenal. He was also the newscaster in The Dark Knight when the guy was about to rat on who Batman was, and the Joker was like, I don't, to anyone who kills him, you get whatever. So he's awesome, but he's just passing out guns and shit, just handing people weaponry, and is like, I got plenty of this shit. It's evil dies tonight. And I'm like, what the fuck? And he does. When he hands the nurse this dude, he hands him a Desert Eagle.
Yeah.
And it's one of the tiger stripe Desert Eagles. It's stupid as fuck.
Like a $30,000 pistol right there.
Maybe not that expensive, but it's still like a traditional Desert Eagle is like a 50 caliber handgun. Like, it's a huge round. You don't just fucking hear. Like this is like a fucking 9mm. No, it's like, now they make Desert Eagles in like 357 and smaller rounds now.
Right.
But like traditionally, a Desert Eagle is...
That shit was blasting.
They're blasting. And that now may be my favorite kill, because the minute she lifts her arm and he kicks the door and it shoots herself in the face, best thing I've ever seen.
Hell yeah. That movie was great. I mean, I'd definitely rank it a little bit higher. I'd probably give them both an 8 now that I think about it for both movies. Well, just because the ending kind of fucked it too much for me. See,
I loved the ending just in the fact that...
My ending's better.
I like that your ending is better. I just did like that the mom was killed. Because first of all, that girl deserves to be an orphan.
Yeah, I'm glad they at least killed one of the fucking family bloodline.
I'm glad that she's alone. Let's just put it like that. I hope the grandmother dies next. But no, we're joking. The it did just feel like a big setup for the third movie.
Right.
But not in as bad a way as Amazing Spider-Man 2, which, by the way, I like both the Amazing Spider-Man movies, but I know that was a huge problem people had with the second one, was they were like, it was just basically a trailer for the third movie. Well, fucking sometime, yeah. I mean, set up something huge. So I'm expecting big things from the next. Do we know what the third movie's going to be called? Because Halloween Kills was a stupid fucking name.
Not the worst, not the best. It's just so
to
easy.
To me, it was pretty fucking dumb.
Very plug and play.
Yeah, it felt like a 5-year-old came up with it.
Probably like Halloween Killing, ? Just something stupid like that.
Halloween Dies. Halloween Dies. I'm claiming it now. Halloween Dies is the third movie.
All right.
I'm going to Google real quick and see if we have a name for that third movie.
It'll probably come out like 2023, 24, if I had to guess. Because, I mean, this movie just literally came out.
Can you guys hear me typing? I type really heavy.
There you go.
For third Halloween movie.
But no, I liked the movie. Like, overall, I did like it. I liked every portrayal. Just that ending fucked it for me, to be honest. It's like, come on, you got him jumped. How does he fucking snapshot all the way back to the window? It's crazy.
I don't know. Halloween Ends. I think it's supposed to be called Halloween Ends.
Thank God.
They may have. It says they may have changed the name. That was originally supposed to come out this year.
Halloween Ends.
Halloween Ends, the third one. So these movies were pushed, probably because of COVID.
Okay, that makes sense.
Which only that would have meant he would have been pumping out movies every year. Because 2018, then 2019, 2020, and then 2021. So John Carpenter's just like, fucking get him out.
Yep,
get him out.
Checks, baby.
It's not hard to make movies now.
All
3 months of shooting, another month of editing.
Right.
We're done.
Hell yeah.
Did you know that the first Halloween movie, the original Halloween movie, was, I think, the first movie, at least the first horror movie for sure, that used a gyroscopic camera setup. So the dude, and they still use them today, it's basically, instead of a guy holding a camera or holding whatever, it's a huge setup that you strap to your chest and it straps around your back.
Okay.
And then it's like a gimbal. The camera is attached to a big gyroscope that plugs into the chest of it. And no matter where you move, it'll stay in that, spot. So that whole opening scene where the camera's following the little kid like up the stairs into his sister's room and then comes down and like meh, 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 his parents. It was all done in this like one shot and it was like brand new technology back then in the 70s. I always thought that was a pretty cool.
There's a good TV show on Netflix called The Movies That Make Us, and they just dropped those.
Yeah, I haven't started watching it yet, but I saw that it was out.
Yeah.
And because I love The Toys That Make Us, and then there was
the games.
There was other ones, but they're very interesting shows. And
I think this one is like season 3, because they only do like 4 episodes per.
Right.
4 or 5.
Which always sucks, because when they...
they're fun to dive into.
They're fun to dive into, but it always leaves you like dying for more. Like The Toys That Made Us had 2 seasons. It was like a total of 8 episodes.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it's one of those ones where you like wish you stumbled upon like 4 years after they already ended it all, and they had like 6 seasons. Just blow through it.
Well, we are at like the hour 10 mark, and we don't typically like our podcast to go super long. So, do you have any final thoughts about Halloween Kills?
Overall, I'll give it an 8. I mean, I liked my ending better. The ending could have been better, especially if you wanted to set up for a number 3. But gore and kill wise on these last 2, compared to like all the previous ones, just blows everything out of the water. And it's honestly one of my favorite like slashers for the time being. Like modern slashers, especially. Yeah, I'll stick 2000s and up. Yeah, definitely. I'll stick with my 8. I liked it a lot. I think 8 is a very nice score, and that may be even more generous than it deserves. But I enjoyed it, and it's something I would watch again, like in a couple of months if I wanted to watch. I'd watch the first one and second one back to back because I enjoyed them. Real quick before we close out, what are you going to be for Halloween? Well, we just had a Halloween party this past Friday, and I was Jesus. I killed it, put the hair down. Riley was the devil. How long is the hair now? I can pull it down. Like, it's not gonna take me long. I think I got it down to the. Oh damn! I got. Is it past your shoulders now? Oh yeah, I got it like down to my nippies. That's
What?
hardcore.
It's that long now?
Yeah, like that's picture
crazy.
up there doesn't do it
That picture, it's pretty long.
It does do it
picture.
justice.
That picture's down to like the middle of your back.
Yeah, no, I got it pretty long now.
Dang.
Yeah, pretty.
You are my
long.
Rob Zombie. My
you got
goodness.
the beard and I got the hair.
Yeah, that's all.
A Wonder Twin combined.
I would absolutely kill. So you know what? I couldn't see myself without a beard, but man, do I wish I had a nice head of hair.
And I'm the opposite. I would love to have a thick beardy beard.
Yeah, at least you can Tony Stark it though.
True. I mean, this is all I got.
Yeah, I know, but
no, Halloween. I don't know what we're doing because we just moved to Avondale, and I don't know like our strip at all if they do anything. And then I think I might have missed the trunk or treat that Kyle and Cowabunga Comics were doing. I want to say this was this past weekend. I want to say, and it's normally
to be honest.
It's normally like a daytime type of deal for
shout out Cowabunga Comics, by the way.
Right, especially if you want good deals on live streams. I sadly didn't get to make this past Saturday one.
This past Saturday, by the way,
killed on those books.
We were doing live auctions and we had a lot of keys. Dude was selling them for nothing. Like, I don't have control of the prices. And he would keep handing them to me and tell me what he wanted. And it freaked me out because he was fucking... The guy likes so much more selling books to people than making, like, top dollar. He doesn't care about top dollar. He just wants, like... people
Miss Marvel
we had first it was Miss Marvel number 8, first appearance of Mystique,
right,
and
$150
first appearance
mint
of
copy. Black Suit Spider-Man.
What's the Cajun X-Men, what's his name?
Gambit,
first appearance of Gambit, the origin of the Black Suit, Secret Wars 8. We had so many good books that he sold for just fucking dirt cheap. Really cool stuff. So if you guys are interested and you want to buy some...
he had a ton of fucking Silver Ages that were like fucking $5.
Cowabunga Comics on Facebook. We also post the link to the Bat in the Hat podcast on Facebook. So speaking of which, me and Lindy, by the way, Lindy is a succubus this year, and I'm only going to be wearing my costume for 1 hour because all of the parties I wanted to go to y'all's party, and I just ended up not being able to. My computers went down and it was awful.
All good.
The party I wanted to go to next weekend, I forgot. Saturday night, I'm still doing the live show, so I can't make that party.
Right.
And then I have to drop her off at a party on Friday that I don't want to be at all. So she's like, you only have to stay for like 10 minutes. And so for that 10 minutes, I will be dressed as Jax Teller from Sons of Anarchy. We got the vest, we got patches. I spent the whole week gluing them on because it takes like overnight for them to, like set.
Why don't you carry it over to the live stream?
Ooh, I could totally do that.
Yeah, because I think I might have...
Are you going to be there this Saturday?
I should be. I mean, cool. I think we have like another flag football thing, but I could probably miss it, to be honest, because I'm still fucking sore.
No pressure. We were able to make it work.
Just seeing the books, that's my favorite thing. And then especially Kyle got like 8 long boxes in of just fucking gold.
Lots of stuff.
And that's like my passion hobby to like kill a Saturday is just to like go digging through books. So
that's awesome.
I'm definitely down to be. So you might see Jesus and Sons of Anarchy.
That's what's up. Yeah.
Neat combo.
We'll be in costume.
Yeah.
Other than that, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and listening to this episode of the podcast. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're listening from Spotify or Apple Podcasts or any of that, we'd appreciate a review, Just make sure that you're sharing the podcast around, spreading the love. And, again, thank you so much. You got anything else to say to the fine people?
No, I'm glad I had fun. Shout out to the...
I'm glad I had fun. I'm glad this didn't fucking suck.
Fucking waste of a Monday night. Could be in bed eating chicken nuggies.
Seriously, I got Chinese food out there, bro.
Right? Shout out the podcast meetup that we just went to. That was fun.
Yep.
Hosted by Botter.
And
Buzzsprout. Got the shirt on. Shout out Tom.
And Tom. Yep, from BuzzFeed.
Met
I was going to wear mine, but it doesn't fit.
Boba. We met the Straight Chillin' podcast. We met a couple other podcasts.
The Simpsons is Better Than podcast.
Yep, Warren Evans.
Yep, good dude.
We met. Sorry. No, I'm a piece of shit. I'm terrible.
The
Wait For It podcast
Wait
with
For
Philip
It podcast.
and
That's it.
Philip and Eric, and then shout out Kyle and shout out Riley for making some badass stickers. I know you're about
to say real quick. If you guys can see them, we got the an actual bat in the hat, and then we have our logo stickers and all kinds of stuff. If you buy if you join us on the live stream with Cowabunga Comics, we'll be sending out stickers with all the people who purchase books. Or if you want to contact us, I'm sure we can figure out sending out some stickers just for people who want them. But we did get some of those in, and we're going to start doing merch probably in the next couple months once we get our bread up, our stacks up, and then we'll start doing merch on a store. And we'll set up a store and all that kind of stuff. But
fuck yeah.
Other than that,
it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be doing this consistent.
Yeah.
Like, even the feedback from all the fans and all the people talking to us, even if it's only 3 people or if it's 1,000 people, it's fucking awesome doing this. I love this.
I love this too. So I'm really glad to be back and doing it more consistent again. I've missed this a lot, and I love just talking about this nerdy shit and stuff that doesn't matter, because I sit at a desk and I talk about mortgages all day, and my brain wanted to explode, and I didn't even want to do the podcast tonight because I was just so like overwhelmed. But I'm so glad that we ended up, because now I just feel so much better. So you guys rock. Trey, you fucking rock.
You rock,
Cowabunga
Steve.
Comics rocks.
Y'all
and all the people
rock.
who have just been awesome to us, you rock. So thank you guys so much, and we will see you next time.
Deuces.